everyone. How are you? I hope that you can hear me. It looks like there's volume on my stream. So if I'm having audio problems, please let me know and I will tweak it. Anyway, how are you guys today? Happy Sunday. Okay, thanks, Joe. I have to warn you before we get started that I am in a bit of a mood, okay? I didn't sleep well last night. No matter how hard I tried, and no matter how many positions I tried to elevate my leg and everything else, I was in a lot of pain yesterday. So I didn't get to sleep until like maybe 4 in the morning. And I did have a fairly decent amount of sleep, but I'm still grumpy because this hasn't happened to me in about a week. So I am grumpy because my pain level is quite high. Hello, everyone. Hello, chat. It is good to see everyone. Now, because I'm in a mood, I'm going to be telling people about themselves today because I have kept quiet long enough. And, you know, as I slide into what is promising to be a very difficult summer, I have decided that before I lose my memory and before I get into the throes of chemo, while I am still somewhat lucid, I am going to be a lot more forthcoming and a lot more honest on this channel about exactly what I think of. I mean, I'm already pretty upfront about my positions on political issues and topics and everything. But I've been keeping quiet about certain people. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm not going to get into some tard war with someone, okay? I'm not going to jump into that fray. I have zero interest in it. But I am going to be a lot more blunt, let's say, about what I think of certain individuals who I haven't really said anything about for quite some time. You know, that's what I tried to do, Jewy. I tried to do that. I tried to get up, walk, take the boot off, put the boot back on. I tried a couple of things, and it wasn't until I finally just collapsed from exhaustion that I managed to get to sleep. But it sucked, you know, and it's just a reminder that I can't really walk properly. It was just depressing, you know. So I woke up grumpy. But before I get into that portion of the show, where I express myself candidly, so the UK had a by-election, which is sort of like the American off-year elections. And Reform UK, Nigel Farage's party, scored some pretty stunning victories. And now there's an argument in the UK as to whether or not it's a protest vote or whether people really signed on to Reform UK sincerely and it wasn't just an FU to Labour and the Tories. In the end, does it really matter? They won. And they took over a lot of seats that were previously Labour seats. They showed the greatest strength in the previously industrialized northern areas of the UK, of England, and in the Midlands. And this is a huge political story. It's absolutely huge. because Reform UK has had a lot of infighting, sniping, and everything, but they pulled themselves together enough to be able to unseat a lot of primarily Labour politicians. And now there's a lot of head scratching, you know. Gee, how could that have happened? Well, I'll explain how it happened. Both parties abandoned the working class. Labour has made it obvious that they have utter contempt for the working class. They have basically jettisoned the working class in favor of courting the Muslim vote. And I have a feeling that that's going to turn out very, very badly for the party. And the Conservatives, well, I don't even know what to tell you. It makes me sad because I think Kemi Badenoch is terrific and I think she's doing her best. But I think that she cannot undo the sense of mistrust that people built up after so many years of Conservative rule, where things that were promised did not come to fruition, like closing the borders, like hastening deportations. Both parties are pointing fingers at one another over the whole grooming gang business. Well, the Conservatives were in power for very, very long. And even though they, you know, pat themselves on the back because of some token trials and arrests and so on, none of the people in the grooming gangs have been deported. Even the ones, well, no, I was going to say something, but I was going to be incorrect. Those rapists are still walking around the UK free as a bird, or they're locked up in UK prisons. And Labour has made it abundantly clear that they plan on doing absolutely nothing. So it was obvious that Reform would come in, talk about bread and butter issues, talk about energy costs, confront the fact that there is a housing crisis in the UK, both in terms of supply and in terms of cost, and that these illegal migrants who are coming in are being housed almost immediately over British citizens. And people are mad about it. There was just a huge protest in Ireland because of this. And Reform UK was very upfront about these issues. The Labour Party is still in the grips of its transgender mishigas. They're still locked in that delusion, despite the Supreme Court ruling. And people are fucking angry.
Negz said, I'm running into town real quick to get some weed.
So people are pissed. People are really angry. And I can't say that I blame them. I would be furious too. I would be furious too if I was British. So, congratulations to Reform UK. Now that you've been elected, I think that the line is from the movie The Seduction of Joe Tynan, which stars Alan Alda. It's about a guy who runs for the Senate and gets elected. And the first thing that he does when he wins is say, now what do we do? Well, now it's up to you guys. All right. So we'll see. But it's very, very exciting political news. So, I have a few things to say. And I'm going to start with Fresh Garbage. So Fresh Garbage did this long stream yesterday. And No Name was in the chat. Hi, Queen. How are you? You know something? I just saw that you emailed me a while ago. And that is my fault because I don't often check the the email account that is pinned in the description box. So I saw your email and I will reply as soon as I'm done streaming. Okay. Fresh garbage. She apologized over and over again for her horrendous behavior on the live stream that she privated and then made public again and then privated again, right? And No Name was in there on her ass. It was quite entertaining. It was a good chat, I thought. But I have something to say to both Fresh Garbage and to Hekate, but first Fresh Garbage. I'm curious. I'm going to take a little poll in the chat. If you are in the chat right now, or if you're listening and you haven't hopped into chat yet, how many of you have had a friend, a loved one, family member, whatever, who has had cancer? How many of you have experienced that? I'm guessing that quite a few of you have, including the people who are listening who aren't chatting, and including the people who are going to watch on replay. Okay, I see a couple of people in chat. A few people in chat, right? Okay, quite a few people in chat. Let me ask you guys something. Those of you who have had a relative, oh, I'm so sorry, Claire, that's terrible. I hope he's okay. Okay, so for those of you who are in chat, who responded in the affirmative, would you agree with me when I say that cancer is a family illness? I'm sorry, Triona. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. Would you not say that it is a family illness in that it doesn't just affect the person who is ill, but, right, yes it is, right, Sidekick? Yes, everybody's agreeing. It affects everyone in the family. Everyone. Not just the caregivers, but everyone in the extended family as well. Fresh Garbage, one of the shittier things that I heard you say in one of the clips that you played from that shitty stream that you did was you were criticizing Negz because he was discussing my cancer on his stream. And your snide little snippy cunty remark was, oh, look, all he can do is talk about himself. Let me tell you something. Let me educate you, okay? Negz has a right to discuss anything on his fucking channel that he damn well pleases. And the fact that your first reaction to Negz talking about what he was going through was to make a snippy, nasty comment is so indicative of the kind of horrible person that you are. Negz is my primary caregiver, and we've all been going through it, all of us, everyone who lives under this roof. So if your first instinct is to attack someone who is my primary caregiver, the person who's going to transport me to and from chemo, the person who is going to have to keep a close eye on me once I'm 2-3 rounds in to make sure that I don't walk out the door and get lost or leave the stove on or do something because I'm not in my right mind. Negz is going to be responsible for that, which is a role that he has gladly taken on. I mean, I already have trouble walking. And I don't know when I will be able to walk without assistance. And now we've got this cancer diagnosis. You are a horrible woman, Fresh Garbage. Horrible. And you may whine and cry because you're like, oh, I apologized to No Name and blah, 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 blah. No, you need to look within and figure out why it is that you are so fixated and so cruel and so without a conscience. You're going to have to figure that out on your own. But you do not have, let's say, you don't have a great deal of compassion for people who are outside the circle of those that you condescend to have compassion for with your white savior complex. Now, your opinion does not matter to me. I'm just pointing this out because people need to know what they're getting into if they decide that they're going to watch your channel. Now, there are two people who have come out and said that they don't care if I have cancer and they're going to keep coming after me. One of them is Russ, the man with weird fantasies about black men essaying women that he doesn't like. Maybe that's the kind of prawn that he's been looking at, or he was looking at the time. And the other one is Hekate. Now, Hekate, I want you to understand something. I don't give a single solitary fuck about what you think of me. And I know that the primary reason that you are so angry at me is because when you decided that you had a problem with Negz, that I didn't immediately break up with him and join your community and pledge allegiance to you, because you run your community like a cult. And it's very weird. You get very, very upset when people disagree with you, or if you see them chatting in somebody else's chat or whatever. Look at what she did to Sean Nova. Someone who was in her community, someone who was probably in her DMs, someone who was a mod, and he contradicted with her on something, some idiotic opinion that she had. I think it was when she absurdly claimed that SJM was being trafficked, which is ridiculous. And she called him out publicly. She couldn't do it privately. She couldn't just yank his wrench and block him. No, she had to call him out publicly and make some weird comment about loyalty, or I think that was in the chat. I thought he was loyal. What is this? What is this? What do you mean loyal? These are people in a chat. These are people you don't know. So what? They have to take a blood oath if they're in your community and they can't contradict you, or else they're going to get called out publicly? Sean Nova was a viewer. But I understand that now it's open season on viewers on every channel. Well, not every channel, but on the shitty channels. And I don't understand that. Pressure cooker, congratulations. I'm loyal to myself. Good for you. I don't give a shit if you continue to come for me as I get sicker. I don't care. Because hi, Rude Glitter, because all that's going to show is what kind of a shitty human being you are. You're a piece of garbage, Hekate. And you have managed to snow or intimidate a lot of creators into backing you, into supporting you and shouting you out and all this other kind of stuff. Even though you went on your stream and you said with your whole chest that you would have no problem lying to CPS. You said that. And if you accuse me of lying about that, I would be happy to tweet out a clip of you saying that or put it on my community tab or whatever. I don't know why anyone would support someone who says something like that. I mean, she admitted it. It's not like she sneakily made phone calls and then denied making them. No, she said that she would have no problem lying to CPS. Oh, Jarella, I think that was No Name. I think that the last time that No Name was here and she donated a whole bunch of memberships that got Fresh Garbage's panties in a wad. I think that you may have been one of the people who got a membership, so enjoy it. I'm not going to make a comment about the creators who are backing her. That is your decision. But she has shown that if you cross her in any way, if you disagree with her in any way, if you do anything that displeases her, she will come for you. So proceed with caution with that one. And as for why was Strawberry Douche so heated about Fresh Garbage, well, Strawberry left a comment under one of my live streams. It was the live stream where I asked for recommendations for audiobooks or, stuff that I can listen to that is intellectually stimulating so that I don't have to read when I'm going through chemo. And Strawberry popped in to give me a recommendation that sounded really, really good. But before that, she expressed a great deal of anger at Fresh Garbage for targeting No Name. That's why she went after Fresh Garbage. It's not because Strawberry is our Janny. It's not because Fresh Garbage came after us with her tiny, irrelevant channel. It's because Strawberry was really, really mad about the way that Fresh Garbage spoke about No Name and went after her and made horrible accusations about her. And all because No Name's husband called her Satan. That's the only reason. That is the only reason. She can dish it out, but she can't take it. And people were pointing that out in her live stream the other day. Like, wow, you're very sensitive. You're very thin-skinned. Somebody calls you Satan and you stream for 6.5 hours going after No Name because her husband said something about you that is so tame that it's not even worth mentioning. Okay. But that's why Strawberry was being so insistent in Belinda's chat and saying that Fresh Garbage was going to be blocked on site. It had nothing to do with me and Negz. It had to do with Fresh Garbage's own behavior and her behavior towards No Name, because No Name is very, very popular. And no, it's not just because she's a generous donor. That's not it. It's because she's a genuinely pleasant person to have in chat. She doesn't make drama. She doesn't run ops. She's a sweet lady. And she just goes from chat to chat and donates to pretty much everybody, and did not deserve that hatchet job that Fresh Garbage did on her and her husband, who also has cancer, by the way. She had somebody named Potato on stream with her, and they agreed on, well, just because you have cancer doesn't mean that people can't call out your shitty behavior. Okay. You're right. You're right. A chronic illness, cancer, whatever, is no excuse, and you shouldn't be able to use that as a shield. Totally agree. If I came on my channel and started, putting up people's doxes or lying about people or making up fantasies and calling people names and all that kind of stuff, then I would expect people to say something to me, cancer or no cancer. I agree. Yeah, exactly. All of this with these channels is being done to discourage people from chatting in my chat, chatting in Negz's chat, donating, or anything else. I saw somebody make a comment about how we sent our flying monkeys after people. We don't have flying monkeys. I don't weaponize my community, and neither does Negz. But we know who does. And they're everywhere. We know who weaponizes their communities. We've seen it over and over and over again. We don't do that. If people want to go into a comment section or into a chat and point out, hey, I think you've got this wrong, or hey, why don't you give them a break, or whatever they say, I don't know. Maybe take it at face value and don't think that they've been given marching orders, because we don't do that. Okay. Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you for gifting a membership. I appreciate it. Hello, Crochetter. Hello, my beloved friend. My whole point is, if you're going to be in Hekate's community, know that at any moment she will turn on you. If you don't march in lockstep with her, if the enemies that she has aren't the enemies that you have, if you aren't willing to indulge every conspiracy theory, every lie, all the nonsense that comes out of her mouth, then you may be next on the chopping block. So, like I said, proceed with caution. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. I'm just saying, be careful with that one. Be careful. Because when she goes after you with a vengeance. Usually completely out of proportion to whatever sin it is that you've committed while chatting or whatever. So, she'll call you a racist. She'll call you a white supremacist. She'll call you all kinds of names. She will try to turn people against you, and she loves to fight with people. She loves to fight. She lives to get into conflicts with people. And one of the reasons that I haven't really said anything up until now is because I don't want to fight with people, okay? I don't want to turn this channel into a fucking free-for-all, okay? I enjoy my content. I enjoy what I'm doing, and I don't want to go to war with anyone, but that woman has been poking at me and poking at Negz for fucking months. So I thought, okay, you've gone after my friends. You've lied about my friends. You have smeared my friends. You have smeared me. You have smeared Negz. And I thought, okay, well, there's no time like the present. Like I said, before I go into chemo and I still have my wits about me, I want to make damn sure that I make it abundantly clear exactly what I think of these people. Okay. Next on the list, Betsy. But of course they are. But of course they are. Right? We're familiar with that, aren't we? Oh, and that reminds me. I had something that I wanted to show you. Now, these two Canadians who fancied themselves to be the great, allies to minority communities, but only certain ones, of course, only the approved ones. I saw something today that drew my attention, and it was something that I mentioned when Fresh Garbage was on panel with us the last time. Okay. It's an article from the Toronto Sun. And the person who tweeted it out says, Canada has become one of the worst places in the world for anti-Semitism. The schools for little Canadian Jewish kids sprayed with bullets. The Canadian synagogues firebombed. The Canadian businesses owned by Jews firebombed and shot up. Just because they are places frequented by Canadian citizens who happen to be Jewish. Canada's Jews account for 1.4% of the country's total population, but are the target of 70% of reported hate crimes, which are up nearly 700% since 2023. 700. The figure that I quoted to Fresh Garbage was incorrect. I said 600. Apparently it's 700. And if you read the article, which I will post in the chat, you will also see that a Jew is attacked in Canada once every hour. Once every hour. That is the legacy of Justin Trudeau. I guess this is all the white privilege I keep on being told about. I've heard so much about it. It's working out super well in Canada, isn't it? It's working out super well in the UK and in New York, all across the United States. It's working out super well in Germany, in Sweden, in France, all over Europe, in Australia. I find it very interesting that these two women who pat themselves on the back and think that they are wonderful, you know, sort of left-wing, progressive SJW types, haven't said a word about this. Now, they're not obligated to. You can't take on every cause. I understand that. But this is something that is happening in Canada at the moment, and not a word about it. Not a word. Next up, I have something to say to a person who left a very passive-aggressive comment under one of my streams. They heard that I had cancer. They said that they were in my community years ago and they wanted to wish me well, but they couldn't help but point out, you know, you've changed so much and I don't really approve of the whole Negz thing and blah, blah, blah. Well, nobody fucking asked you, okay? But I have a response. You're goddamn right I've changed a lot. Now, a lot of the opinions that I'm expressing now are opinions that I have held for years. I have been talking about the transgender issue going back to 2021. And I got a lot of heat for it. Guess what changed me? Having my job contacted more than once. Having someone I thought was a friend dump DMs that revealed that I had a security clearance, and then claiming two things. One was that I really don't have a security clearance, and the second one was, well, if she does, the public has a right to know. Okay. And then washing his hands of the whole thing and insisting that nothing had resulted from that breach of confidence. Well, no, something did happen, actually. I narrowly avoided being disciplined at my job. But of course, this person didn't give a shit. That's okay. Neither does anybody else who contacts your job. We can fast forward through the smears, the lies, the stalking, the harassment, people reporting our Kickstarter, people trying to interfere with our business, people sending CPS to the house, people sending the police to the house. getting dragged to court multiple times, unnecessarily. What else? The constant lies and smears. The constant lies and smears. Having our real life turned inside out. And then, of course, there was October 7th, and that day changed me forever. Forever, just like September 11th did. And following October 7th, there was my visit to Israel last June when I went to the Nova Music site, and I will never be the same. Never. I watched as Western cities exploded. I watched as college campuses exploded. I watched there be no consequences for people attacking Jewish students. I saw people marching in the streets, getting violent, vandalizing Jewish businesses, not getting arrested, or getting arrested and being released an hour later. I saw no consequences for this behavior. The United States, for the past year and a half, has reminded me of Germany in the 1930s. And that is why, speaking of the mustachioed one, I have been psychoanalyzed within an inch of my life for why it is that I made the decision to move here. Well, it's a goddamn lucky thing that I did. I do not feel safe in any major city in this country. I don't feel safe. In this town, I may complain about it a lot, and I may bitch a little bit here and there about Indiana, but I can promise you that I am safer living here than I would be living in any major city in the United States, because the police does not protect us. They don't protect our schools. They don't protect our houses of worship. They allow these mobs to walk by unmolested. I saw a mob of black and Muslim goons attacking Hasidic Jews in Brooklyn, and the Hasidic Jews stepped up and they opened a can of whoop-ass, which is wonderful. But there is no police protection. Where do the police go? Where do the police go? What exactly are they doing? It's all been very distressing. And for those who keep on comparing Trump to Hitler and all this other nonsense, I don't feel that way because I am surrounded by his supporters. First of all, because I know what Hitler did, okay? And I'm tired of Hitler being used as an insult to go after politicians that you don't like because they do something that you don't agree with. I am surrounded by people here who would protect me. I see more Israeli flags flying in this part of Indiana than I did in any major city in the U.S., including New York and including, you know, cities with large Jewish populations. So thank you very much. As it turns out, this was a great decision, and I am very, very glad to be here. That is the harsh reality of my life. I'm a city girl, born and raised, and living in this rural little outpost, surrounded by evangelicals and MAGA people, makes me feel protected. Because I sure as fuck will never be able to turn to the left and say, where did you people go? On the left, those are the people who would be turning me in. If we ever hit some kind of a national crisis and we were rounded up, those are the people who would be reporting me. Including a lot of people in this community. Not my community. You guys are great, but... Yeah, exactly. You know, it's just a goddamn shame, Doris, that South Florida is so fucking expensive. I would love to live in Miami. So would Negz. We would love to be in Miami. But god damn it. I had enough conversations with the Cuban Uber drivers when I was down there. And they gave me the lay of the land and how much money it costs to live in Miami. It's a lot. You know, it's not that sleepy little city where Jews in old men in, you know, checkered golf pants and old ladies with beehive hairdos play shuffleboard all day. It's not that city anymore. It's too hip, it's too cool, and it's very expensive. Oh, you're a South Floridian? Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. There we go. All right, I'm going to speak out on one or two more people. The next person I have something to say to is someone that I've addressed before, but they don't seem to listen. So I'm just going to keep saying it over and over again. Well, not over and over again, because quite frankly, the topic bores me stiff, but Texas 1, I booted you out of my community three years ago because you couldn't abide by some very, very simple rules of my community. You couldn't help yourself. And that winner, Kay Petty, was running around telling people that you had said, or that maybe that not that I had said, but, or that you had said, but I don't know, was accusing me of stealing money from you because you were a member on my channel. And that spread like wildfire. That's another reason why I don't want to talk to Kay Petty. Why would I want to talk to a pathological liar? Texas, I don't know who you are. I don't know where you're from. I don't know how old you are. I don't know your name. I don't have your phone number. I have never communicated with you privately. Not once. I don't know anything about you, except that you really love being modded in people's chats and that you're very, very bossy, which I take it is why you were kicked out of Peanuts community. You never miss an opportunity to take a dig at me or a dig at Negz, and this has been going on for 3 years. I am going to ask you one more time to back the fuck off. You are giving people the impression that you know me, that you know more about me than you do. And I want to assure everyone, I don't know who this woman is. We were not friends. We were not close. We didn't correspond. Like I said, I don't know her name. I don't know anything about her. But she is really, really obsessed with me in particular. The parasocial thing is totally out of control. And I ask you one last time, get the fuck off my back. Go to these new communities that you're in and enjoy yourself there. Enjoy yourself. Why are you so worried about me? Why are you so determined to rubbish me month after month after month? Why? What did I ever do to you? Nothing. And now I see that she is resorting to the old tactic of, well, I think she's lost her mind. They question your mental health, right? That concern trolling. Oh, I think she's gone crazy. I think that she's mentally ill. I think that there's something wrong with her, something snapped. And that's why she's in Indiana and blah, 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 blah. It's exactly what they're doing to John Fetterman now. John Fetterman had a stroke, woke up. Quite a few of his positions changed. And now his staff is saying that they think that he's mentally ill. He's not mentally ill. That man is as sharp as a tack. Just because you don't agree with his opinions now or his positions does not mean that the man is crazy. But we've seen it over and over again. I mean, we've seen it done to Ethan Klein a million times. Oh, I think that you need to go into therapy. I think that there's something wrong with you. I think that, you're having a meltdown. I think that, well, we're going to get to that with the Idubbbz video. Ethan Klein is not crazy. Ethan Klein is sick of the gaslighting. And so am I, by the way. But if you want to criticize me, and you want to sit there speculating as to why it is that I'm here, why it is that Negz and I have been together for 3 years, why it is that whatever, about me, stop calling me fucking crazy, okay? Find something more original. Come up with some crazy conspiracy theory. That would be more entertaining. But this is a common tactic used to gaslight people. And I, for one, am tired of it because I see it all over the place. I guess I might as well mention one last person. And that person is AJ Lair. AJ, for nearly a year and a half now, not consistently anymore, but you have been streaming about Negz and about me. You have accused me of a great many things that are not true. You cannot let us go, especially Negz. You've gotten it into your head that Negz was calling for you when you went on panel with him. No, he saw you in chat and offered you a chance to go on panel and chat. He wasn't calling for you. You're insane, AJ. Your hatred for me and your hatred for Anna is not normal. It's not. And I know that you've been shown proof that what you've accused Anna of doing to you is not true. You have been shown proof. I know this for a fact. But you don't care because you are so convinced that you're right. You are wedded to some crazy theory that's on your beautiful mind chalkboard or whatever with all the yarn going from one person to the other. I am going to ask you one last time. Leave us the fuck alone. You think that you've had it tough because, oh, I don't like people lying about me. Neither do I, AJ, especially by you. Nobody gives a shit about your timeline. Nobody gives a shit about your DMs or your voice notes or anything else. No one cares. Maybe you've noticed that nobody shows up in your chat anymore. Everyone figured out that you're crazy and obsessed, and you never have anything new to say. Even the Kiwi farmers abandoned you. Everybody dumped you because you're crazy. And quite frankly, your obsession with the two of us makes my skin crawl. And I'm not fond of that feeling. I ask you to give us a break because, like I said, I am about to go into treatment. And I don't want any additional stress. I don't give a shit about your theories. I don't care about what's obvious to me, which is that you want to get back in Negz's ear. You want to be friends again. You know, you want to fill him up with all this bullshit that was rattling around in what passes for a brain in that head. And you keep on saying that I was unfair to call you a liar. And what did you lie about? Well, I'll tell everybody what you lied about. I'll tell everybody. Now, it is possible that when you did that stupid stream in the middle of the night, the one that you then mysteriously deleted somehow, that wasn't even available in StreamYard, that's a complete fucking lie, but okay. It is possible that people misheard what you said. It's possible. Obviously, this misunderstanding would have been cleared up if you had put that stream up and you had allowed us all to hear what you actually said. I don't care about that stream, but I can point to one thing that you clearly lied about. I mean, you lied about me multiple times, but that's because you've got this crazy theory in your head about me, that I came here to do harm. Oh, hello, No Name. By the way, guys, Karma is No Name, just so you know. It is so good to see you, and I just wanted to let you know, No Name, that I am very proud of the way that you conducted yourself in that chat yesterday. The stream was unbearable, but I was really glad that you showed up, you put your foot down, and you wouldn't take your foot off the accelerator. Because, God damn it, No Name, you do not deserve to be treated badly by anybody, no matter what their motivation. And you certainly don't deserve, and your husband does not deserve, to get dragged and smeared with false accusations. Oh, it was Fresh Garbage's stream from yesterday, Cheryl. I don't know if she's privated it because she's a huge coward. But, No Name. I know she apologized a million times. I do not believe she's sincere. I think she's doing it to get herself out of hot water because she knows that now Strawberry Douche from Kiwi Farms is after her. Or not after her, I'm exaggerating. I haven't spoken to Strawberry. I don't know what it is that she has in mind, but she was, if you saw my community tab, you'll see that Strawberry left a comment under one of my streams, and she was very vexed by anybody coming after you, and made it abundantly clear in Belinda's stream, from what I saw, that Fresh Garbage is to be blocked on sight if she shows up in Belinda's stream. And basically, I think the only ally she has right now is Hekate. Because Hekate is a piece of shit, too, who likes to sling around accusations of racism and everything else at people. Hekate may lie about this, but I saw a clip from one of her streams where she saw that you were donating in my stream, and she was saying, oh, I don't think No Name is racist. Talk about a dog whistle. Talk about a dog whistle. And her chat had to straighten her out and say, no, No Name's great. She's in everybody's chats and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But Strawberry Douche took great exception to what Fresh Garbage said about you. And I can assure you, and I can't really think of that many other people, that many other viewers off the top of my head, if any, where the entire community has your back. And they will not stand for anyone coming after you. And it is because you are a delightful... I mean, that idiot Fresh Garbage put it very crudely. She's like, oh, I'm sorry I scared off your pay pig. First of all, does No Name look scared to you? She's not easily intimidated, especially not by a loser like Fresh Garbage. It's not because No Name is generous. That's not why. It's because I genuinely enjoy No Name's company, as does everyone else in every chat. Oh, she did? Oh, so you're racist too, because you watch Bridget? Oh, she was joking, huh? Okay. Yeah, she's hilarious. So the entire community is behind you, No Name. And what I said the other day, I meant, which is that what was done to you reminds me exactly of what was done to D. Higgins. Exactly. The accusations of behaving or holding thoughts that you don't hold, smearing you, dragging you, saying that you're a sugar baby or whatever. It was done to D. And it hurt D a lot because a lot of these insults and smears came from people that she had supported and she thought were internet friends. She was stabbed in the back by everybody. And some of us didn't appreciate it. And, you know, D is one of my closest personal friends. D and Crochetter are two of my closest friends. And I can assure you that what D went through was completely undeserved, vicious, largely driven by jealousy, and completely uncalled for. And I was worried when I saw what was being done to you, and I wanted to nip it in the fucking bud because I saw what it did to D. And I know that that idiot Fresh Garbage has a tiny channel and so on. I wanted to make sure that everybody knew what a piece of shit she is. And I wanted to throw down the gauntlet and say, if you're going to come after this nice lady, I'm going to have something to say about it. So, I think that Fresh Garbage is being advised by a very manipulative, deceitful group of people. I think that all the wrong people are in her ear, telling her things. And I think that she is too insecure to put her foot down. And I think that she is too stubborn to try and see another point of view. She immediately responds with insults and ad homs and going after your family and this and that and the other thing. She's a piece of shit. And she will never succeed on the platform because of this behavior. And also, Fresh Garbage, there was absolutely no reason to target Gata the way you did. Gata has been trying to talk sense to people who have lost the plot. Fresh Garbage, she tried it with Russ. She's tried it with a bunch of people. And they all basically told her to fuck off. So off she fucked. But I can assure you that Gata is a very good person. She's a very good person and her intentions are good. So you decided to dismiss Gata out of hand and instead listen to the Ms. Rain Seattles and the K. Pettys and those people, the A-logs and the trolls. Well done. You saw where that got you, right? That's great. Oh, yeah, she's gonna, you know what? My prediction is she's gonna double and triple down on that. So, hello, Anna. Hello. Yeah, Gata is a, no, I started about an hour ago and I still haven't gotten to the point. So, I'm just reading people for filth. That's all. I'm calling people out and exposing the lies, the hypocrisy, and everything else. And I shouted you out too, Anna, just so you know. That I am sick of these assholes, these liars, and these smear merchants coming after you. And I am sick and tired of people spreading lies about you. And I'm sick of people attacking you and singling you out and calling you all kinds of names. I'm sick of it. Okay, so back to AJ. That gets me back to what I was saying. So AJ, you had asked when you ever lied, okay? And you never lie, and I have no right to call you that. Well, I'll give you an example. This is the one off the top of my head. Remember when you did that whole tearful stream where you were snuffling into the microphone and saying, you know, I trusted you, Negz. I trusted you. I trusted you. This was after Negz made that crack about how you married your skating coach. And you made it sound like you had confided in him and you had told him a secret that he then blurted out on stream. That was a lie, AJ. You never told Negz anything about your skating coach. First of all, you're not married to him, number one. Second of all, you shared information about your skating coach in private DMs with a couple of the women in Negz's server. You never told Negz a goddamn thing. But then you went on stream and you made a whole drama about it, and you made it sound like Negz had that Negz had blurted out a secret that you had told him. And also, you tried to give the impression that the two of you were so close that you were willing to open your heart to him and tell him your deepest, darkest secrets. You never told him fuck all, AJ. Never. And the only thing that you told those women in the server was that your skating coach had married somebody else who was younger than you. I'm not even going to begin to try to untangle that ball of mishigas, all right? But that whole I trusted you Negz stream was so manipulative, and it was such a lie. And then you decided that you were going to put up a community tab where you admitted that you had never told Negz anything. So yes, AJ, you are in fact a fucking liar. You are a liar. And your obsession with Negz and with me, like I said, it makes my skin crawl. So if you wouldn't mind too much, I would appreciate it if you would fuck off and find somebody else to talk about. And maybe maybe form a search party for your community that appears to have left you. Because people are sick and tired of listening to your bullshit, except for Monica, I guess. She's the only one who's still around. Okay. There you go. Yeah, I remember that thing with the songs. But anyway. All right, so now we're finally going to get to Idubbbz. At last. Okay, so the last time that we talked about Idubbbz, he was unveiling his new content cop, which has been an absolute disaster, and left his reputation in a flaming wreckage. Well, people were wondering, is he going to follow up with a content deputy? Well, he sure did. Now, what's happened in the meantime is that their Creator Clash event is a complete disaster. The tickets aren't selling. It's the Snow White of YouTuber boxing events. Jake Paul has scheduled an event on exactly the same day as Creator Clash. So far, 2 of his fighters have dropped out, including the fighter from the title card, who is Jewish, took a look around and said, no, I don't want to be involved with people who are involved with... Thank you, No Name. You are lovely. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So he took a look around, said, wait a minute, Idubbbz associates with Hassan Piker, with Denims, with Frogan, with all these anti-Semites. Hassan Piker is a propagandist for terrorism, and even Asmongold is now out saying that he thinks that Hassan Piker should not be on Twitch, that he needs to lose his channel. And he dropped out. Then one of Ethan's staff members dropped out. And there's an open question as to how many more people are going to drop out of this event, which looks like it's going to be a complete disaster. And there's nothing that they can do to salvage it at this point. And a lot of this is a result of that content cup that he released. And also, they were stupid. They rented a venue that is way too big. Way too big. The Tampa Bay Lightning Stadium in Tampa Bay. All right. Correct. That's exactly what they are. The hypocrisy in the community is enough to choke a horse. But hey, I warned you guys. I warned you. So heed my warning or don't. It makes no difference to me. Regardless of who you watch, who you choose to support. I've got my channel. I've got my community. And quite frankly, I don't want anyone from your community, Hekate. I don't want any of those people in my community. So rest easy. I'm not trying to poach, okay? And I'm not trying to discourage people from donating to you, although I think that your own behavior and the way that you sling insults around and the way that you make false accusations against people and the way that you target people, and especially now that you have admitted that you don't give a shit that I have cancer and that you're going to keep coming for me, I think that eventually people are going to catch on. You know? And if you keep on turning on your audience and you keep on exposing them and dragging them for filth on your channel, it's not a good way to run a channel. Okay? I'm just saying. All right, so let's watch this content deputy. He always used to do the content cops, and then he would follow it up with a content deputy. All right. So let's see what this idiot had to say. Thank you, Beth.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Content Deputy.
Hi,
now,
Ian.
normally in a Content Deputy, I would dance around in my cop outfit in the woods, but this video isn't going to have any of that fanfare. We're just going to get straight into it. I was hoping that if I made a video about Ethan, he would act like an adult and he would keep the attacks directed at me and Anissa.
Okay, so we're already off to a bad start. So you made a video where you partnered up with Hassan, Denims, and Frogan, and Sean DeBlack, and we still don't know who he is, and why he was asked to be in the video. Unless it was like some DEI hire, I guess, because nobody knows who he is, Ian. Nobody. And these were the people who were, especially Denims, who were pushing the narrative that that Ethan was a neglectful parent, that Ethan and Hila were neglecting their children, which resulted in a CPS visit, which you never mentioned in your content cop. And so, yeah, they all promote Bad Empanada, who is one of the biggest unhinged anti-Semites on the platform, who came forward and said that he was the one who called CPS on Ethan. He's a troll. I don't think it was him. I doubt it, but maybe it was. What the fuck do I know? And now you're sitting here and you are actually scratching your head over why Ethan would just open fire on everybody. And by the way, the Ethan Klein, Sam Cedar, Ethan Klein, Hassan Piker debates were a complete disaster for Ethan's opponents. And the universal, except for their little brainwashed communities, everybody agrees that Ethan won against both of them, against the approved Jew and against Hassan. And Hassan got hysterical, and all that he was left with at the end was calling Ethan a racist. It was gorgeous.
Unfortunately, I was wrong in thinking that, because Ethan, in a desperate attempt to attack and smear Anissa and I, he started attacking our charity event.
I don't know if you know this, but the last year they lost $250,000. To be charitable, you actually have to give money to charity, Hassan. You have to give money to be charity. It's like a slush fund for them.
Ethan and Hila are well aware that we raised...
Creator Clash 3 is not a charity event. That's a lie. It's not true. Absolutely not. And they took a bath on Creator Clash 2, and then they had to pay quite a bit of money out of their own pockets to avoid being accused of taking the money and running, even though the event lost money. So, no, Creator Clash 3 is not a charity event, and people need to stop spreading that particular talking point.
Raised $1.3 million for charity the first year of Creator Clash. The second year we operated at a loss, and I take full responsibility for that. We did band together. The community and the fighters involved ended up raising $175,000 for charity. It's been really disheartening to see how often Ethan will...
Now, you may be asking yourself, well, if the event went so well, why were they forced to pass the hat around? And why did Ian and Anissa have to pony up cash out of their own accounts? Well, I'll explain why. They spent way too much money putting up influencers at hotels, doing the red carpet event. They paid their fighters way too much money. And I don't know if the fighters were also paid bonuses or what, but the overhead on that event was insane. It was insane. They threw parties. I'm pretty sure that they had open bar events. No expense was spared when it came to rolling out the red carpet in every possible way for these influencers who came to the event. So what do you know, when the event ended, they had lost money because they don't know how to spend money. They don't know how to budget it. And so they had to pony up the cash. But it's good that some money went to charity. It doesn't really matter where it came from.
Attack Creator Clash through us, or attack us through Creator Clash.
Ian and Anissa, masters of putting on an event.
He's reposting random troll accounts that are very easy to vet. If you click on this profile, it has a bunch of Sam Hyde adjacent posts, and it just hates Anissa and I. Come on, dude, you're one step away from calling me a cuck. Just take the...
Sam Hyde adjacent posts. One of the more amusing things about Idubbbz's lore is that he decided that he was going to do an expose on Sam Hyde. And Sam Hyde, who I didn't know anything about, I had to go and look it up, and it was hilarious. He trolled Idubbbz from the minute that the cameras started rolling until the end. Made a complete fool out of him. And nobody has let Idubbbz forget it ever since. So anything related to Sam Hyde, no matter how tangential, really gets under this guy's skin. Let's continue.
The plunge. He's highlighting this post that equates Creator Clash to a crypto rug pull. He's saying the event is going to be worse than TanaCon. Can't wait for them to blame us for their failed event. Don't worry, Hila. I'm not going to blame you guys for anything Creator Clash related. I know you're terrified of taking accountability for anything, so that will rest solely on my shoulders. But I can't speak for the internet. The internet might actually blame you guys for it. Now, with this recent revelation that people are just going to use Creator Clash to attack Anissa and I, Anissa and I have decided to step away from Creator Clash.
Oh.
We have relinquished control to our business partners who ran the previous two events. They're very capable. They know exactly what they're doing. They run events on a regular basis. The event is still happening. Anissa and I just don't have any financial ties. We don't have any ownership. We are, I think just going to be known as the founders of the...
And you may not have any fighters within the next month or so. You better get your shit together, dude. That event is supposed to take place next month. And my understanding is that he's been reaching out to everybody to fight, including Ice Poseidon. What could possibly go wrong? And even Ice Poseidon turned him down. That'll tell you something.
The event. Yeah, I mean, I think it had to come to this eventually. I can't keep my mouth shut. I can't, I can. I just didn't want to. I want to be frank. I want to be honest. I was very quiet during the second Creator Clash because I was afraid of how that would impact other people. This year I said I'm going to do something different. I'm going to fight back if someone's trying to attack me. So that's what I did. And now I've realized, I can't really have my cake and eat it too. It's either you're going to talk shit like a foul beast on the internet, or you're going to have a charity event. It really can't be.
It's not a charity event. It is not a charity event. My God, this man cannot stop. He can't stop.
Both. I'm very proud of the event that we made with Creator Clash. It's still happening, June 28th. I'm just not going to be involved in it. Please, for the love of God, support this event. I feel like in some ways I'm like cutting off an arm so that I could escape the bear trap, and so I can fight. Well, that's a bad analogy. You guys get it. We've already told all the fighters, and it seems like most people understand that this is the best move. If the previous content cop was entertaining to you, or this video is entertaining, or you like the message, the best thing that you can do for me is to support Creator Clash. Buy it.
No. No, it wasn't entertaining. You were raked over the coals for it. People can't stand you. They don't like the fact that you and your wife stabbed 2 friends in the back, that you turned Content Cop into a hit piece on your friends. And never once in that video did you mention the CPS visit that the Kleins got. Never once. Yeah, people don't like you. It was not an auspicious return to the Content Cop tradition. But you do you, boo-boo.
Ticket, buy a pay-per-view ticket, an in-person ticket, or donate to the fundraiser. I just want to see this event do well. You know, I didn't try this shit because I thought I was going to be a good boxer.
Oh my God. Would that not be fantastic? CoffeeZilla would be the perfect person to expose this. The perfect person. Oh my God, can we all, if you're Catholic, can you say a novena? If you pray? Could you light candles, do whatever it is you do, cast a spell to persuade CoffeeZilla to do a series on Creator Clash? That is an amazing idea. I love it.
I didn't think I would be an awesome event organizer, and you know, now I'm finally back to where I started, which is making fucking Content Cop videos. I don't want to make this too ham-fisted, but I kind of do want to make it ham-fisted, because I'm like, I spent my last fucking 4 years working on this stupid boxing shit.
You just reminded me of something. If that potato person comes into chat, block them on site. I don't want them on my channel. I don't want to have somebody in my community who takes the position that just because somebody has cancer, it doesn't mean that you can't drag them if they hurt your fifis. Instead of you growing a spine and maybe taking it on the chin and realizing, well, this is the arena I've stepped into. I chose to step into the octagon. And if somebody calls me Satan, maybe in the grand scheme, it's not that big of a deal. And I should just roll with it. And Potato was there co-signing everything. So I don't want Potato in here. Potato, if you're listening, don't come in here. Because the minute that you come in, somebody is going to block you with a quickness. Okay. All right, let's go.
Shit. I mean, it was worth it, absolutely. But, like, it's crazy that I've just returned to Content Cop. Having said all that, Creator Clash ticket link down in the description. Go check it out, buy tickets, support the charity, support the fighters, and have a good-ass time. I mean, ultimately, I think it's a good thing because I think I am meant to roll around in shit. I think me and Ethan are both meant to be rolling around in pig shit all day long, and other people are meant to do boxing or debating or whatever else. Ethan and me, pig shit rolling around type of fellas.
You underestimate my strength! I got coach's strength! The will of the Lord! I mean, Yahweh! Yahweh!
I think the worst criticisms I labeled at Ethan is that he's a bad boss, a tyrant of a boss. I just implied that he was being taken advantage of by people either in his community or outside of his community, and I called him a bitch-made coward. That was like the summary of personal insults labeled at Ethan. Before
That's not true. There were many more insults. And by the way, you had absolutely no proof that he's a tyrant or that he harasses people. Nothing. Responding to criticism that you get from other content creators is not harassment. Harassment is getting CPS sent to your house. That's harassment, Ian, but you forgot to mention that.
Before Ethan even knew what my video was about, he was already framing me as anti-Semitic.
But he's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. Fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys, right?
I don't know if that's what the video is.
I'm one of you. I fucking hate Jews too, guys. Let's get after it. Israelis have no right to defend themselves, actually. All Israelis are settlers, actually. What is he going to give me a history lesson now? Is he a historian? Yeah, he just discovered empathy, by the way, and only extends to the point where you're actually talking about Jewish people or Israelis. Then empathy stops and they should all be murdered. Bro's actually out there like Timothy McVeigh. He's running to the closest fucking kindergarten to blow it up. There's a Jew. I heard there's a Jewish.
That's what Timothy McVeigh did.
They want all you guys to quit and for me to just be like alone. Little Jew boy alone.
That's right.
Like Ethan, under a year ago, was saying he doesn't use anti-Semitism in that way. He's not a guy to call anything and everything anti-Semitic.
No, he calls anti-Semites. He He points out anti-Semitism of anti-Semites, and that's all of your friends, Ian. And some of the arguments that you've made, I'm telling you, they cross the line. But the fact that you are associating with these people and you are carrying water for them and you hide or you try to, you try to hide the shitty things that they say. Maybe you're too ignorant to know when they're wrong. But maybe if you ask Ethan nicely, he could explain it to you.
No, in my whole life, I've never screamed foul on anti-Semitism. I literally have been getting this shit since the second I stepped foot on the internet, and I have never fucking ever done this, okay? So the people online, they're saying, oh, Ethan's making himself a victim, or Ethan's making everything about anti-Semitism. I've done this once in my life right now. But he's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag, fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys, right?
I don't know if that's what the video is.
I mean, I get that he's scared and offended, but this was the whole fucking point of my video, Ethan. I was saying that you shouldn't be doing this. It led to me making this video in the first place. You were triggered by the CPS harassment thing, and then you immediately...
Oh, now we remember that CPS came. Now we remember, after releasing a video that got, what, millions of views, maybe 7 million, all of a sudden now, you get a light bulb over your head and you remember to include CPS. Got it.
equated Anissa and I to it. That was sloppy, and that was horrendous, and it was horrendous for us. And now you're doing it again.
I'm going to watch it live.
Should you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. But like, why?
I just don't think, I feel like you're going to get really emotional and say something you regret.
Well, I've got the button.
Like, I know you don't have a problem taking it head on, but I just feel
Of course not. Because I know that
you're
whenever...
understandably upset. And I feel like it might be a little...
Should we wait to talk about it, or you want to talk about it?
You should do it off stream. Because I don't know, this escalated initially because we were live and you guys were heated about, I forget what it was.
I just think it might be wise to watch it.
Oh, no name. I should have known that you're a Gen Xer. I should have known. You really give off that Gen X energy, especially in that chat yesterday. Well, it is nice to have a fellow Gen Xer in the community. Thank you for being here.
Think out your thoughts and respond in a calm way, because there's no chance that you don't get heated.
I don't need to fucking pre-watch this. I don't need someone else to hold my hand through it. Like, I'm ready to take on anything that these people have to say about me. He's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. Fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys. I'm one of you. I fucking hate Jews too, guys.
You attacked us, so I attacked back, and now you're acting surprised and shocked, and you're doing it all on your podcast live. So naturally, you reacting live is you having an emotional reaction and seeing things that honestly are scary.
I just said,
As I recall, Ethan and Hila blamed the Reddit snark thread for the CPS call. That's my recollection of events. And all of this is hyperbole. All of it. So, oh my God, whatever.
vented about them not defending me. What the fuck is he, like, he's actually losing his shit and I just can't believe it, dude.
Should you call him up?
So go fuck yourself.
I agree. Fair weather friends who are so happy to be friends as long as they're getting something out of it.
And again, this is the video, or this is the live stream that had CPS in the title. Once again, he's left out the title of this live stream, which goes a long way towards explaining why Ethan and Hila were so upset in this live stream.
Of it.
Ian sucks for the same reason right now. He could say something.
Spineless. Our POV is like, fuck everybody, and I don't want to hear any excuses. You're not my friend, and you never were, and you never will be. You never will be.
What's very insane about this content cop is I was thinking about Ethan's feelings so much in that video. I thought about the idea of like how I shouldn't be saying the term Zionist or Zionism in that.
Oh, how thoughtful of you. How thoughtful of you. Yeah, I guess that this is the empathy that he just learned at the age of 32. How kind of you not to use a term that some of us use to describe ourselves with pride, but Jew haters use as a smear and as a code word for Jew. So, wow, you have so much character And you were considering his feelings in that hit job? Amazing.
That video because I was like, he has explained before that that's personally insulting to him and he doesn't like that. You know, regardless of how true it is, I was like, I'm going to think about Ethan's feelings and not mention this. Fast forward to him reacting to my video, he's just outright calling me a fucking Nazi.
Is it a coincidence that Ian really shaved his head just before doing this video and he's holding a swastika one? I mean, we can free Palestine without being a Nazi. You fucking Nazis. How about that? Well, this is the white savior, Ian, who's just found empathy, unless you're Jewish, of course.
Ethan, people are allowed to shave their head and not be called anti-Semitic. I mean, if you're going to critique his podcast or be pissed off that he personally insulted you, even that is enough to be called anti-Semitic. It's fucking crazy. Now, I don't want to talk about Hassan's sword. I don't want to talk about Hassan's sword hilt because Ethan himself basically admitted already multiple times he doesn't think any of us did that intentionally. And he would be right.
Do I think any of them actually like wanted to put a swastika in the photo? No, no. I don't actually think that. The chances that they did on purpose is close to zero, right? So I'm not accusing them.
I picked up a random sword in Hassan's room that was laying around. That could be the end of the discussion. You don't actually need to debate Hassan about the sword hilt.
He left
the
it up.
decision making
If
of
it
a
was a
person.
mistake.
God, he's so defensive. He's so defensive. I wonder why.
He could have deleted it.
But I'm not going to delete the photo because that would be indulging in your weird anti-Semitic fantasies.
We can free Palestine without being a Nazi. You fucking Nazis. How about that?
I'm done being nice to Ethan. I gave it a chance. My sincerity and my empathy in that last video was real. I was even equating to him having crash out moments in the same way that Denims could have crash out moments. I think we're all capable of it, but he was using it in the video to suggest that I was making fun of his mental health.
To my good friend Ian of 8 years, I really appreciate you weaponizing my mental health against me.
To make Ethan crash out. He's having a parasocial...
No, you have made fun of his mental health. You have suggested that the reason that he's so upset and that he is behaving this way on stream is because he needs therapy and he's imagining things. You gaslighted the man. You gaslighted him. So, yeah, he has a right to point that out, but you absolutely did do that. And so is Hassan. And so have the others.
Weird crash out. People can have crash out moments. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help. Dude, I'm not making fun of your mental health. Every example you used was me basically saying that other people are trying to affect you. It's understandable that you're going through this right now, Ethan. We all go through this.
To characterize anything I'm doing as crashing out, that I need help, that I need to get some kind of treatment, is cruel and pathetic on a level I didn't think he would ever be possible of doing.
Every fucking example that you tried to smear me with was me actually pointing to something else that could be affecting you. He even brought up the clip of me saying, if you get help. We all need help. Everyone on this planet needs help. I don't care how you get it. You can wander into the jungle and go on an ayahuasca trip. I don't care how you get your help or what you define as help. But if it helps you, that would be good. Because right now it doesn't seem like you're getting much help. The main criticism that I was seeing online with my video from Ethan...
You know what would help? What would help is if Reddit took that snark thread down, which they are refusing to do. I mean, when any rando, small content creator can make an appeal to Reddit and get an entire thread taken down, you know, like that Priscilla P thread on Reddit that covered Keeping It Cute and One Tree whatever, and Priscilla P, all the people who go after Alexandra Rodriguez, that got taken down. But Ethan's is still up. You know, it would help if you guys stopped lying about him and his wife, if you guys stopped going after his family, if you guys stopped accusing him of saying or doing or thinking things that are not accurate, if you stopped gaslighting him, if you stopped sending skulls to his house, I think that would help. How about that?
Ethan and Hila, is that I didn't mention the CPS call.
There's really just one central point that I want to make here. My good friend Ian, in his hour-long takedown, did not mention one time Child Protective Services. Not one time.
There was not even one mention of CPS.
And a lot of the clips he uses is us fired up from the day that CPS came to us.
So, like,
without
a lot of
without even explaining that at least that's the context, it's pretty cowardly.
I wonder why I wouldn't mention the CPS call. Could it be that the CPS call happened the same day that you were shit-talking me? And I didn't have any chance to defend myself. You just immediately, in the same podcast, right next to each other, said, CPS call was very traumatic. And then you said, fuck Ian and Anissa. And you linked those together, you kind of layered those flavors, and then Anissa and I got a bunch of harassment. We had...
Excuse me. Excuse the fuck out of me, sir. Did you see what led up to that CPS call. I mean, come on, your wife is buddies with Denims, right? Did you see what was happening in her chat in the days leading up to that CPS visit? Did you see her playing Bad Empanadas video? Did you see the way that her entire chat was encouraging people to call CPS? Did you see that? I mean, come on, your wife is buddies with Denims, right? And you guys didn't say a word, which is especially galling considering that Denims is a family friend. And you didn't say a word to cool anything down. You didn't say anything, did you? So it's not just about the visit itself. It's about everything that led up to that visit. Yeah, you and Anissa are pieces of shit. The end.
Nothing to do with the CPS call. What are all these fucking comments on your Reddit saying, like, it happened because of the CPS call? I don't entirely blame your audience for getting confused, because number one, it's a fucking cult, and number two, you can't even get the timeline straight. So if anyone's watching your dumbass, their brain is also going to get scrambled.
Be friends as long.
Oh, please, not my timeline. Not a timeline, please, God, no. Okay, let's soldier on.
As they're getting something out of it. So again, he's not showing the context. What was the okay, I'll play this part. Did you guys ever find the context of what I was talking about here? Because I feel like I wasn't even talking about him. I could be wrong. I just don't remember ever saying, like, if I did say that,
I thought you were talking about them, about Anissa and Ian in that clip.
That's the same clip of
It's all the
when
part of the
CPS
same
was
clip.
called.
Yeah.
Same clip.
It's part of the same conversation.
You completely wiped your brain of what happened during the CPS stream. That's not my fucking fault. That's no one else's fault but yours.
All I wanted for you to do was say the bare minimum of, like, hey, this is fucked up. This is not true about CPS, whatever, like the bare minimum. It came up because they were talking about it on their fucking podcast. By the way, they're the ones that, like, started this conversation by talking about it on the podcast. Be like, hey, I'm not getting involved.
I think that was their response after you guys initially called them out.
This is what I was talking about. You cannot have something terrible happen, be like, yes, let's make some content, and then shit talk your friends of 8 years.
I'm so fired up, I don't even know what to do with myself, which is why
Sure you
I
can.
don't know if that's a good state to be in life.
That's that kind of spin.
And a lot of the clips he uses is us fired up from the day that CPS came to us.
For anyone confused about the timeline, Ethan was talking shit about us on his Instagram before any CPS shit. He was also talking shit about us on his podcast before any CPS visit. On March 7th, CPS visits Ethan and Neela, and that same day, they decide, let's do our podcast, and let's have...
Again, it's not a question of when the call came through, or when CPS showed up. It's the fact that you are friends with the woman who was the primary driver of that those talking points. And she featured on her stream a video by a notorious psychotic anti-Semite who was laying out that whole false story that then her chat got all exercised over. And then what do you know? After that Denim stream, here comes CPS showing up at the door. That is a problem. Okay? It's not, I mean, this timeline, again, what is it with people in this community not being able to put together an honest timeline?
Have the topic be the CPS visit and how distraught we are about that. And then right next to that, right after it, you guys talk about me and Anissa. But you don't just talk about us. You shit talk us, and you imply that we're friends with people who are doing this, who are the ones who are harassing you.
Do you have evidence that H3 Snark called CPS on you?
Did I say that?
Random anonymous
Did I say that?
Wait, what's the...
I said they're primarily responsible for harassing me.
Who called CPS?
What the fuck? So I don't know.
To be honest, I'm very proud that I didn't immediately jump to Ethan and Neela's defense, because when you look into the story, it actually looks a lot shittier for Ethan and Neela. And I do mean that literally. There was this H3 stream where Ethan was dumping as per usual. He was talking about his own health. He was talking about his caca breath, his dog having diarrhea, his dog having giardia.
Olive has giardia. It's a bacterial infection in the intestines that makes you have diarrhea.
His child running around putting things in their mouth.
Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has giardia.
The whole family possibly having giardia.
Oh,
and now...
Okay, and this is incredibly dishonest. Because they took the baby to the doctor and they determined that the baby did not have giardia. It's that the baby's diet changed and the baby got diarrhea. Now, one thing that I do agree on is that Ethan needs to be a lot more thoughtful when it comes to the private stuff that he shares on his channel. You know? However, the kid never had Giardia. So, and he made that clear. He announced that on his channel. So the people who called CPS made a false call.
Well, Ela has Giardia.
Shut. For real?
And now I think this morning I had diarrhea.
Oh my God.
What can I do to not get it from
Yeah,
you?
I'm trying
to-
Because I'm not trying to get
No,
it.
it's extremely ridiculous to get. You have to ingest my poop.
Talking about the viscosity of his child's shit.
And although meanwhile he is covered in viscous, low viscosity diarrhea.
He mentioned diarrhea a lot.
Crazy diarrheas like in the middle of the night. All the time he's having these crazy diarrheas. You wash your hands as best you can, but these are really nasty diarrheas. And then extremely foul smelling diarrheas.
So of course, Ethan, having made so many enemies over the years, other people react to his content. And when other people see that he's talking about his children getting Giardia from dog poop.
Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has Giardia.
People are quite reasonably concerned. And so, yes, anyone who's seeing that content might be concerned enough to call CPS.
Oh, I see. So you're giving the person or the people who called CPS the benefit of the doubt. Even though CPS was called after Ethan made it abundantly clear on his channel that the kids did not have Giardia, and neither did anyone in the family. So it's his fault. So he's the one who caused this problem for himself. He created that rod for his own back. Do you honestly believe that anybody on the internet is genuinely concerned about other people's kids when they call CPS? In 99% of the cases, that is not true. I think that the people who called on Shani and Rev were genuinely concerned. I think that the people who called on Sarah Locklear were genuinely concerned. The rest of them just do it for one-upsmanship. They do it to get a rise out of the parents, to upset the parents. And the kids are collateral damage. They don't care that the kids have to be interviewed. They don't care that the kids are traumatized. They don't give a shit. But like I said, 9 times out of 10, when a call to CPS originates from the internet, they're doing it to piss the parents off. And if the kids get upset, or if they're embarrassed in front of their classmates, or the parents now have to explain to the school principal or whomever why this happened, well, who gives a shit, right? They do it in order to get a reaction on stream. That's what they want. Because they know that in most cases, the kids will not be removed. But all the hassle that you have to go through before CPS closes the case, it affects the entire family, but primarily the children. And it's a shitty thing to do. But here's Ian. Well, you know, you kind of brought this on yourself.
Including Ethan's own chat, which, by the way, is not a measly number. It's about 26,000 at the time of this stream. So there are 26,000 people listening to Ethan go into great detail over 7 or 8 minutes about diarrhea, viscosity of diarrhea, his child having Giardia, him and his whole family having Giardia. They're calling it the poop house. Now, what Ethan does, instead of taking any responsibility for sharing too much on his life...
I didn't see one message in that little photo array where anyone was saying call CPS, but guess where I did see that? In Denim's stream. That's where I saw it over and over and over and over again. You know, your friend Denim's. Your buddy. People were teasing him in that stream. And I have come to find out that a lot of the people in that snark Reddit will buy memberships so that they can get in there and they can, you know, shitpost. And he has 26,000 people watching him, you know. I mean, it's not possible to get to every single comment. But I didn't see a single person in that stream suggesting that somebody pick up the phone and call the authorities.
live stream is that he decides to attack specific creators like Denims and say she was the source of the CPS call because her chat was reacting to Ethan and saying, wow, this is concerning.
Is on her
You know what? Tankies are not known for their sense of humor. So, probably.
platform right now advocating for our children to be forcibly removed from us by Child Protective Services.
The problem with this CPS thing is that Ethan has proven to be a manipulative piece of shit.
Oh.
So when he calls on me to defend him, what the fuck am I meant to do? I don't trust you, and I'm glad I didn't trust you, because in your video defending yourself, you used a video that takes context from like 3 different places and combines them to make it seem like someone is coordinating an attack on you.
Love made a good point. You said,
Look
is
at all
this
those comments.
every comment? I believe this is a live feed of the chat. This isn't edited.
What about the top right? I thought these were
No, it's
selected.
this. I think when you full screen it. No, this is an edit. It's a cutout of the full chat. It's just enlarged.
Oh,
there,
really?
Over the screen, yeah.
They're
Okay.
different, I think.
Yeah.
It's not time. It's not
Wait,
time.
so if Ian is suggesting that these screenshots of the chat in Denim's channel are a compilation of several live streams, that makes it worse. That makes it worse. Don't you understand that? Oh, it was deceptively edited. Every single comment that I see in here has to do with CPS and removing the kids from the home. I didn't see those messages in Ethan's chat. So, yeah.
I'm the same way.
But it sounds like based on this clip, you knew that it was bullshit and you just went with it anyway. Ethan Klein uses this very deceptively edited video that is just like doing this smooth scroll to make it seem like that's all of Denim's chat. But that's not what it is. And then when he's called out on it, he hides it. He moves his window over the real chat.
Also, this is not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other
Reading the
illnesses,
chat,
it's
co-signing
very,
it.
very, very dangerous.
Now pay
So I would
attention
assume
to
he doesn't
her
actually
chat.
have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit, and he has kids, and his kids like.
Why does it have to be anyone else's fault but your own? Take some fucking responsibility. It's just so bizarre that Ethan would expect Anise and I to make a statement when Denims herself already...
You know what's really delightful? Is when you have CPS come to the house because some asshole on the internet has decided that they're going to call and traumatize your kid or your kids. And then people in the audience or other content creators gaslight you and try to convince you that it's your fault, that somebody decided to abuse the authorities or send the police to your house or whatever, which is exactly what this jerk is doing right now. Yeah, it's a real party waiting to happen.
made a statement about it and said that she does not condone calling CPS.
So we're talking about CPS. 1, I don't condone. 2, I've never condoned it, and you will not be able to find a clip of me saying, yes, we should do this, because it doesn't exist. I've literally given Ethan Klein credit on multiple times or multiple instances, and I will do it again right now, for not showing photos of his kids.
Part of my criticisms of Ethan initially was the openness. I think it's a problem that you are that open, Ethan.
Well, you know, I'm very open about everything. It's part of how I wanted to conduct myself and how I wanted to relate to the audience.
And that I do agree with him on. I do agree with Idubbbz on that. I do think that Ethan needs to be a lot more reserved, and he can't overshare the way he has in the past, just for his own safety and the safety of his family. Don't give these people ammunition, you know, because I have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to come after his family again. So...
is to be open as possible about every fucking thing in my life.
It is not strictly a benefit to be as open as possible on your podcast.
Ethan was just sharing his thoughts, what we were thinking, we were speculating.
Sonny's crawling around, he's putting everything in his mouth, he's at that age.
That sounds delicious. You and your smothered pork chops. Great, now I'm hungry. I'll be sure to eat something when I get off stream. Just so that you guys know, I have lost an enormous amount of weight. And I have lost so much weight that Negz actually pointed this out a couple of weeks ago. And I wasn't really paying attention. And then I noticed, holy shit, I have lost weight. And this is something funny. Now, you can call me a liar as much as you want, but this actually happened. So when he and I went to the oncologist, and the oncologist was talking about removing my tumor, and whether or not there would be enough skin to cover the wound, and what we were going to do in the event that there wasn't or whatever. And the oncologist said the following thing, which is the first time I have heard these words in decades. In decades. The oncologist said, see, the thing with you is that you're a very thin woman. I haven't been thin in years. Literally years. So maybe I should go on camera at some point. I'm just trying to get my hair under control. And now that my stitches are out on my forehead, my scar isn't that noticeable. So if I have a good hair day, I will go back on camera and you will see that I have dropped a lot of weight. Like a lot of weight. I don't know why. But because I'm pretty much immobile. But yeah, I'm skinty. Go figure.
He has giardia.
We were speculating.
Oh,
and now Hila has giardia.
Shut.
Be open as possible about every fucking thing in my life.
Yeah.
Really? How many siblings do you have?
I don't know, dude. The internet's too fucking weird to give out all that information.
Oh, you don't even want to say how many because you're afraid that it will
by all means,
compromise
keep
your
talking
privacy.
about it.
On top of Ethan characterizing me and my wife as anti-Semitic, he also takes a dig at my tattoos.
Bro, you literally look like a fucking free tattoo pack that you get for 25 cents from a windy thing, bro. Like literally my kids have cooler fucking tattoos from Chuck E. Cheese. Bro looks like he just went to the menu and was like, I'll take that one, that one, that one, that one, that one.
He and his wife both have hideous tattoos. They're not as bad as Ready to Glares. Okay, but they're bad. They are bad. What, so now we're tattoo shaming? Is that something that you're going to get upsetty spaghetti about, Ian? Come on.
That one and that one.
I have quite a few options here. I can show your tattoos in all of their glory, or I can show that your tattoo made it to the top of awful taste but great execution subreddit, which is not a good thing. I mean, it might be a good thing for the artist that you work with because that means that they did a good job from a technical standpoint, but it's sort of a failure in every other aspect, particularly the decision-making aspect. If you want to go tattoo for tattoo, Ethan, we can do that. You want to keep it to other things? We can. I'll give you that option. Ethan also talks about the potential CTE that I might have after boxing.
Yeah.
Ethan, your whole system is scrambled.
No, your brain is scrambled for getting punched in the face too many times because you don't understand the situation. Some people are saying the CTE is starting to take effect, I guess. That would be comforting if there was some explanation at least.
Any amount of CTE that I may have endured after doing 2 boxing matches, I'm going to say is preferred over having to share the load of doing 50 jumping jacks with my wife.
Yeah, what if we we'll both do 25 at once?
25 each?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is
Great
awesome.
form by both. Really nice. They must work out.
Also, why are you talking about CTE at all? Like, you've continually illustrated that you can't keep track of anything.
It came up because they were talking about it on their fucking podcast. By the way, they're the ones that like started this conversation by talking about it on the podcast. Be like, hey, I'm not getting involved.
I think that was their response after you guys initially called him out.
He can't even keep straight who attacked who first. He thinks that our podcast where we're expressing sympathy for him and Hila was the impetus for him talking shit about us.
This is so childish. This is so incredibly stupid. I cannot get over how petty and how ridiculous this is. This is worse than the content cop. And I'm rapidly losing interest. But we've got 10 minutes left, so let's see how fast we can get through it.
I much prefer boxing-induced CTE than harassment-induced CTE. Ethan acts like we're such great friends and that, like, he shared such intimate moments with me.
Not
but it's all
anymore.
horseshit. He's lying. Like, the whole thing is a fucking lie. He's manipulating his audience. We did not have a close relationship.
You guys were buddies for a long time.
He texted me like one time, like, hey, dude, we should talk this out. And I was like, I don't feel like having this conversation right now. That's it. So Ian kept trying to get me on the phone or text with me. And I told him, dude, honestly, I don't feel like having this conversation right now.
Okay.
Fair, right? I just didn't want to do it. Okay?
Just in that particular moment, or like at all?
Well, it turns out I didn't want to talk to him at all.
Okay.
If the relationship was that close, you would have talked to me on the phone. You wouldn't have shit-talked me. You would be curious where my brain was at and where I was coming from. There's this moment in the Content Cop where I'm trying to give an example of the cycle of harassment. Have you ever been in a comment section and found someone to argue with? It doesn't stop. It can literally go on forever if you don't want to touch grass.
I mean, yeah, this was kind of... Okay, what does that have to do with me?
I don't know.
Are you okay?
Ethan and Hila act like they have no idea what I'm talking about here. So, I mean, maybe they don't. It's a very obvious and easy to digest point. That's why I made it that way. I'm going to explain it here so everyone on the internet understands. When you have a podcast where you are constantly emotionally dumping and saying things just off the top of your head, and you're...
Oh, you mean like your podcast with your wife? The flop plot podcast that nobody watches. Like that, right? That's all you two do. You trauma dump incessantly on your podcast. Incessantly. Talk about the Department of Pots and Kettles.
Attacking other people randomly. Maybe from your perspective, it's not attacking. Maybe you're just commenting on someone else's situation.
He's got to be one of the most visually repulsive people. FaZe Banks, like, in my opinion, he's somewhat repulsive to look at.
And be
pedophile. Pirate Software was like weird about it. It's like, look at my old voice, it's so lame. What an obnoxious loser. She goes, I can't believe these people are so obnoxious. And he looked like an idiot who's obsessed with me, dude.
But what happens when other people comment on your situation? It doesn't feel too good, does it?
But he's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. Fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer guy.
Yeah, I mean, they came at him. They didn't criticize his looks. They didn't get into petty scrap fights. They lied about him. They lied about him and about Hila. And they showed absolutely no compassion or empathy for the victims of October 7th. None. And Hassan Piker is now tripling down on saying that there is no proof that any rapes happened on October 7th. So, yeah, I think that that's a little bit different.
That's right.
I don't know if that's what the video is.
That is the back and forth I'm describing. You might have thought, we were just saying that Ian and Anissa are bad friends. Well, guess what? We didn't take it that way.
Our POV is like, fuck everybody, and I don't want to hear any excuses. You're not my friend, and you never were, and you never will be. You never will be.
What we took it as is Ethan and Neil are shit-talking us. They just implied that we are okay with people using CPS as harassment, and now all of their fans are brigading us. So...
No. They were upset. They were upset that you guys who have been to their home, who have met their children, you were allegedly friends for 8 years, that you know them well, that you couldn't come out and say a single thing to defend your friends of 8 years. And instead, you chose to side with Denims, who started all this CPS hysteria in the first place. It was either Denims or the Snark Reddit, whatever, but Denims was the content creator that was really pushing this narrative. So, yeah, I think that they had every right to be upset. And there's been a lot of disagreement among the commentary bros as to whether or not Idubbbz coming forward and saying something would have helped. It would have been the decent thing to do as their real-life friends who know the condition of the house, who know that the kids are not being neglected, who know that they're not bad parents. But instead, you chose to say nothing in their defense. So you're goddamn right they were upset. Of course they were fucking upset.
I am going to respond in kind and make a content cop. So yes, that is what the cycle of harassment looks like.
Okay, what does that have to do with me?
I don't know.
How about you fucking Nazis? How about that?
You might think that all the harassment you're getting has everything to do with your politics and your idea of Israel-Palestine, but a lot of my gripes were centered around you dragging me into your shit. You know, you knew that you were going through a lot, and you were saying, I'm hurting, I'm now going to make them hurt because they're not putting their head on the chopping block. Fuck you, you're a piece of shit. I'm sure there's anti-Semitic people that are attacking you guys, but they're not me, they're not any...
Yeah, they're your friends. Your friends. Those are the anti-Semites attacking Ethan among a mob of internet strangers. Hassan, who is a dyed-in-the-wool anti-Semite, a terrorism supporter, a guy who has defended the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, Denims and Frogan, and others. So yeah, absolutely.
Nisa. It's not Hassan, it's not all these other creators that you're attacking.
Hassan.
You're not the biggest victim on the internet, Ethan. Other people can experience a horrible fucking time. And guess what? They're not getting this other benefit, which is 26,000 viewers. You're getting a lot of money and a lot of content, a lot of things that you care about.
Yeah, and I'm sure that he would settle for fewer viewers, less money, and to have his family left alone. And to not be dragged, gaslighted, lied about, not to feel that his safety is threatened. not to get skulls in the mail, all of that. But here's the irony. Ethan is winning this battle. Or this war, I should say. Idubbbz's reputation is in tatters. Asmongold is out there saying that he thinks that Hassan should lose his channel. Frogan still doesn't have any viewers. Denims is being dragged from pillar to post. So this little op that you guys ran together, it failed. It failed. And believe me, I watched enough of those debates that Ethan had with Sam Cedar and Hassan to say that they were out and out shit shows and they are not worth watching. They were preposterous. Just awful. Absolutely awful. Submental. And there are, by the way, a number of Jews on YouTube whose families came from Arab countries who are furious with the way that the issue of the Iraqi Jews was discussed. So I'm telling you, it was just awful on both sides. But again, you guys lost.
From these beefs and from this harassment, there are a lot of people that you've just bullied and they have nothing to gain out of it. Frogan isn't making a bag from this. She's not getting content out of this. You're attacking her in relentless ways and endorsing so much worse harassment than what even you send her way.
You know, some guy, I can't remember which content creator it is, but he's a fairly big streamer. He called Frogan fat, I think, and he got banned. But Hassan, meanwhile, is running terror propaganda, putting terrorists on his channel, lying, disseminating fake news to his very young audience, and for some reason Hassan is untouchable. I think that that's one of the reasons why Asmongold is so frustrated. I mean, we've always known that Twitch's application of the terms of service is not consistent, but goddamn, I mean, could it be more obvious that Hassan, Frogan, and Denims are protected? Yeah, Frogan and Denims were banned for like a week or something, and Hassan was banned for 24 hours. Whoop-de-doo.
The shit he said and posted about Frogan over the past years is like insanely nasty shit. Yeah. Worse than anyone I've seen. If this is true, absolutely my.
And thank you, Roslyn, Tectone. That's the guy. I didn't know who he was. Thank you, Tectone. Tectone called a fat bitch fat, and boom, out he goes. So I think that that's pissed a lot of people off too.
Mind-blowing, insane shit.
Hold on, it's not worse than anything you've seen. How could it be worse than anything you've seen?
Literally, no. I guess
he was
not.
very nasty. Well, I'm just saying, people like fucking want to like get lay down and fucking like.
I'm talking about specifically against Frogan.
But like he called her fat, right, and ugly, which is horrifically mean. I get called a fucking baby killer.
I was talking specifically about
that's way
Frogan.
worse than being called fat and ugly, in my opinion.
Also, on top of Ethan and Hila constantly victimizing themselves, I did notice that as soon as we didn't immediately jump to Ethan and Hila's defense, Ethan took that to heart and he started to make that his employees' problems. Instead of just, sucking it up and taking on himself, he decided to imply that Lena is going to have a problem with that.
She's horrible.
A lot of this has ramifications for the crew. The way that they have it set up is basically, if Lena were to drop out, she would lose, she would have to pay back $25,000 or something insane. And besides that, which I told her I would cover if she wanted to drop out, she's working really hard. And just because I'm having an issue with what's going on here.
You bringing up Lena dropping out of the fight was you publicly showing to your fans, I don't approve of this. You were saying this shit before the content cop even came out.
Which I told her I would cover if she wanted to drop out.
But now you were saying that you didn't have a problem with any of it until I made the video.
I was totally on board until the organizer put out a video calling me a psychopath for harassing his friend.
Obviously, Ethan and Hila will victimize themselves every chance they get. But when they have the chance to victimize someone else who's on their crew, they'll also do that.
She wasn't victimized. She made the decision to drop out of the shit show because Creator Clash 3 is looking like it is going to be an absolute disaster and a huge failure. And that's your fault, Ian. That has nothing to do with Ethan. And the other one, Harley, dropped out because he's Jewish and he didn't like the cut of your jib, and he certainly did not like the cut of the jib of your buddies, your newfound friends, who, the last time I checked, have done absolutely nothing to promote Creator Clash 3. You did all the heavy lifting, you did the content cop. When did Hassan or any of them promote Creator Clash 3? You got nothing out of the deal. You got a lot of views. You probably made a lot of money on that content cop. but you destroyed your reputation. And now Creator Clash 3 is going to be a disaster. Unless there's a last-minute miracle. But, and you know, Jake Paul scheduling his fight on the same day, which I think was done on purpose, that's going to kill your pay-per-view. It's going to be a mess, all right? And you have no one but yourselves to blame.
You already forced Lena into this horrible situation. And again, you forced this situation on her.
Why would I do such a thing to Lena? Dude, you have as much agency as I do. You didn't have to badmouth me on your podcast. That was a choice that you made.
Well, he badmouthed you because you're an asshole.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree. My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up.
Oh, the organizers of this event are not jumping to my defense? All right, well, maybe instead of shit-talking them, maybe I should zip it.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree. You already forced Lena into this horrible situation. And again, you forced this situation on her. By the way, Idubbbz, Lena's fucking having a panic attack.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
But you're just lobbing it to me and Anissa. I'm lobbing it back to you. You're the one who brought it up. If you lob it back to me and you say, well, I didn't have your back publicly. Well, fuck you. I'm going to lob it back and say, you're being irresponsible on your podcast, and you're not taking any accountability for the shit you're putting out online.
Deflection.
I think that's going to do it for this video. There's a lot more.
Thank God. Okay. So, that was a disaster. I mean, this guy keeps on stepping on rakes. He stepped on one. Then I guess he decided that that wasn't enough, and the smack in the face didn't wake him up. So I guess he lined a whole bunch of other rakes up and stepped on them one at a time. So well done, Ian. You will not be vindicated on the internet. And I don't know, maybe you can persuade Hassan to mention Creator Clash 3, although now Ian and Anissa are out of it. That was awful. And I'm praying that there will be no more of these. Now, because I have you here, No Name, I have a question for you. Oh, see, I don't know how to take this news. I don't know whether to say good because it's more content for everybody to feast on and make money off of, or whether to dread it because the quality is getting worse. And he's being more and more and more of a victim in each one. And I wonder how much enthusiasm he's going to have to keep on going after Ethan if Creator Clash 3 really does turn into a giant failure. And they lose their shirts on it. And I also wonder how many more fighters are going to drop out. Who are they going to be left with? So, all right. So, No Name, I have a question for you. It was a question that I posed earlier when you weren't in chat. Would you agree that cancer is a family illness? So, in other words, cancer is not just an illness, the illness of the person who has it, but it's an illness that it impacts the entire family. Would you agree with that? And would you agree that cancer is toughest on the closest family members? The caregiver, the kids, you know, the people who see you day in and day out. Yeah, I thought you might agree with me. Because that was another thing that Fresh Garbage was criticizing. Suggesting that Negz was trying to make my cancer all about himself, which he did not do. Yeah, she's a piece of shit. I wonder when she's going to stream again, and if she decides to, what topics she's going to cover. Or if she's just going to hide in Hekate's community. Because Hekate was saying she was going to bring Fresh Garbage up on panel, you know, to give her more exposure than she's already gotten. I wonder if she's still going to do that. Not that I care. I'm just pointing that out as, yeah. Or be sober. Maybe don't stream when you're drunk. Maybe don't stream when you're upset. And maybe if your boyfriend votes for a politician and you voted for the other guy, maybe don't let it get to you to the point that you stream for 6.5 fucking hours where you're smearing everybody and insulting people and lying about them. How about that? Who brought her up tonight? Who brought who up tonight, Anna? Well, I did say that fresh garbage is a liar, right? Oh, I see. Okay, so in other words, she gave fresh garbage a pass because fuck No Name, and fresh garbage is a proxy to come after us. That's why. So No Name and her husband can get fucked. And yeah, because fresh garbage is such a valuable asset in a community. Well, when you're that dumb and reactive and they're going after the same people you're going after, yeah, I see. I can see how Hekate would forgive her. Yep, exactly. Exactly what I thought would happen. The woman stands for nothing. Absolutely nothing. And all those people in the chat, oh, you've apologized so many times and it's okay. No, it's not fucking okay. It's not okay. And I'm not just talking about the specific stuff that she said about No Name and her husband. I'm talking about the other shit that she said. You know, but then again, Hekate also said that, you know, she doesn't give a shit if I have cancer. She's going to continue coming for me. Okay. What are you going to do next, Hekate? Are you going to go for No Name's husband too? Why don't you do a survey of everybody in the community, and whoever has cancer, you can go after them. Are you going to go after Just Saying now too? Listen, I'm used to it, right? I'm used to people coming for me and lying about me and going IRL on me and all of that. I'm used to it. But again, you keep doing you, Hekate. You keep doing you and keep on showing everybody exactly who and what you are. I think quite a few people have caught on already. And I just want to say, No Name. I've been thinking a lot about you and your husband because I know how tough it is with his health problems and how, you know, you never know who's going to come for you just because you happen to be in somebody's chat or you hop on somebody's panel. You never know. And there are a lot of mentally ill, greedy, vicious, spiteful people in this community. So, I'm sorry that it happened to you because God knows, of all the people who participate routinely in people's chats, you were the least deserving of that takedown. And I could see when she was running those clips on the stream yesterday, I could see the people who were in chat who were like giving her the attaboy. Fresh Garbage, you have surrounded yourself with some very, very bad influences. Very bad influences. They're giving you bad information. They're leading you down a bad road. And you're the one who's going to end up getting screwed, not the idiots in your chat. You're the one who's going to end up paying the price. Hekate or no Hekate. So, well, please do email me, No Name. Please do. I would love to have an email correspondence with you. I think that your husband is lovely. I want to thank the two of you for being in chat, for popping up on panel. Not you, girl, but Hubs. And if Hubs ever wants to be in my chat and call anybody Satan, feel free to do so, Mr. No Name. Okay? Because I'm sure that whoever he targets had it coming. All right. Wow, it's 8:15. I'd better hop off. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the new members. Thank you for being a wonderful community. I appreciate all of you. And I will see all of you the next time. See you later, guys.